Josh 3 Arch the Archer. In today's video, the Portland Trailblazers, in my opinion, I think are not going to be going into the playoffs, and I'm going to be explaining why is that. Now, before we start the video, do not forget to like and subscribe. I would highly appreciate if you do that, and turn on post notifications. With that being said, let's get on to the video. So the Portland Trailblazers are in a really tough situation. Obviously, last year it was really hard getting into the West. Now this year, it's going to be even way harder with teams that are on the come up, like the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, and even the OKC Thunder. Obviously, the Pelicans with Zion Williamson, I really think he's going to take a big leap. He averaged like damn near 30 points per game last season. We got teams like the Grizzlies, and Ja Morant. He went to the playoffs. He beat the Warriors, and I really think that that Grizzlies team, they added some really solid players this offseason, in my opinion. Like, they added some good time players that are gonna help out that squad. And the OKC Thunder, obviously, they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which I think really underrated player, and he might take a big leap. A lot of OKC Thunder fans are really high on him, and they should be, because he's a good player. And the Portland Trailblazers, they didn't really make any big moves compared to these other teams. They made probably the least moves out of any team in the NBA. So and honestly, Damian Lillard, if I saw this, I'd be like, bro, I'm leaving this, bro. I'm requesting a trade, because literally they did not make that much moves, probably little to any moves. Like, everyone is expecting them to at least trade like CJ McCollum. Obviously that could change, because we're not even towards, actually, we're getting close to the training camp. But anything can happen. There is some deals that have happened in the past that it was like 1 week before the training camp, so that could still happen. The trade deadline's still there, but I don't think they're gonna do anything significant. I think the only thing that they're gonna be willing to do is probably trading CJ McCollum to the Philadelphia 76ers, which I don't even think that's gonna make a huge difference. For the Portland Trailblazers, there's not really much they're gonna have to do. They're gonna do to make it into the playoffs. I see them as being like a 10th or 9th seed. I really think they're gonna barely make it in there, just because of all these young and up and coming teams, man. Like the Portland Trailblazers, and if you really look at their roster, some of the key things that have been taken away from them is Carmelo Anthony. He did so solid for the Portland Trailblazers, and I don't think they did anything this offseason to replace him. They haven't made, they got Marquise Chris, but that's nothing compared to Carmelo Anthony, a Hall of Famer. Like, there's nothing compared to that they're gonna have to bring in. There's not much free agents that they could bring in currently. We do have players like, I don't even know, man, who is out in the free agent market. There's not much players at all. And for the Portland Trailblazers, man, actually looking deep into their roster right now, they have players like Nurkic, they have players like CJ McCollum. Obviously, I said they added Marquise Chris. They have, I think they still have Gary Trent Jr.? I'm not even sure, but comparing the rosters to other teams like the Grizzlies, which I think the Grizzlies are just a way more stacked team and bench. Obviously they made that trade for Eric Bledsoe. They made a lot of good trades. They traded Jonas Valanciunas, but I don't really think that's gonna sting that much. I think that the moves that they made is gonna be better than that, and I think Ja Morant is gonna have a big come up, and he's gonna obviously do better than last season. We've seen some footage from Ja Morant in the offseason practicing and everything. He's making those crazy dunks, you know what I'm saying? He's literally making those crazy windmill dunks. He's looking unstoppable. Obviously the Warriors, they didn't make it into the playoffs, I believe. Yeah, the Warriors did not make it into the playoffs, and them being in the playoffs next year is guaranteed. Are you kidding me? It's guaranteed. The Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, their whole squad is gonna be back. And so all these teams are better than the Blazers, and there's no way you could tell me that the Blazers are going to be making the playoffs next year. And I really think them not even making the playoffs next year, the next year after that, Damian Lillard is gone from the Portland Trailblazers. I think that's 100% going to happen. Whether or not they trade Damian Lillard by the trade deadline, that is kind of questionable, because the Ben Simmons trade and there's other trades out there. Maybe the Blazers going into the regular season, like their first few months, they realized like, yeah, we suck, bro. We got to make some moves. And then they trade Damian Lillard to another team. That's a possibility that could happen, and that's obviously just going to lower their chances of even making the playoffs. So this is why I'm saying, like, there's 100% no chance that the Portland Trailblazers make the playoffs coming into this year. And yeah, that is going to wrap up things for this video. Do not forget to turn on post notifications, subscribe, and like. I would highly appreciate that. Comment down below what you think about this. Do you think the Portland Trailblazers are going to make it into the playoffs this year coming up? With that being said, Josh the Archer, and I'm out.